Welcome back to the Weeb Lounge. So, what does the Yakuza, a vase collection, and a psychic girl have in common? Caviar, apparently. This anime is called Hinamatsuri, and it's kind of a goofy, offshoot, unique power girl kind of. Yeah, this one's unique enough to where you kind of have to watch it to really get the idea of it. But it focuses around, first and foremost, Nita. Who is Nita? Nita is a Yakuza member. He's a gangster. He's mafia. And apparently, he's fairly good at his job without having to use violence and stuff. He's more of like a, I don't want to say bookkeeper or anything, but somehow he rose up in the ranks and made a lot of money without having to get all violent and crazy, right? Well, this guy apparently has done rather well because he's got a lot of money. He has a very expensive vase collection, something that he puts a little bit too much pride into. But, unlike a lot of, gangsters and mafia guys or whatever, he really enjoys the finer things. Fine food, fine drink, fine vases, a really nice condo. He likes to live the opulent life, I guess, as long as he's making money from the mafia. Yakuza. Yeah. So he's basically just kind of in his room one day and gets clobbered in the head by a big round metal thing. Just appears out of nowhere, bobs off his head, rolls around on the ground. And the only thing you can really see, it looks like a metal egg, and the only thing you see is like someone's face in a hole. Just sitting there looking just dumb. He thinks he drank too much or whatever, so he goes to sleep it off, wakes up in the morning, it's still there. And the person who turns out to be Hina is still stuck in there. She's none too pleased about this. But anyways, that introduces Hina. Hina is like from another dimension or something like that, created by labs and science to have these really, really crazy, powerful psychokinetic abilities, right? And she's like middle school age or something like that. But she's like real powerful when it comes to this stuff. Well, she kind of just takes up residence in Nita's apartment really without his permission. And there's nothing he can really do about it because old psychokinetic girl here is like, oh, you won't let me stay here? Well, what about this vase right here? And just kind of makes the vase hover over and be like, well, I'll just smash this vase if you don't let me stay here. Okay, you can stay here. He likes his vase collection. It's a crutch of his, I guess. But yeah, it's really odd how this goes. But remember when they first met, Hina was kind of stuck into that pod or egg or whatever it is overnight, right? Well, to kind of get back at Nita, she puts Nita inside the egg, okay? And of course, as big as that guy is and as small as this egg is, he's really cramped in there. And apparently he has to pee. So he kind of just has to go, and he's stuck in this thing. And it's really hot in there. And when he finally comes out, he's like completely naked, and steam is coming off of him. But the steam's not water. It's like piss steam. And it looks like he's rising up like the Terminator from the movies after they transform. It's goofy as hell. It's goofy. This whole anime, it's not action adventure. There's a little bit in it, but not much. It's more about character development, of course, and there's a lot of comedy to go with it. Let's throw in a couple of the other characters. Really only two to kind of, that are terribly important, at least this early on. First up is Anzu. Anzu is another psychokinetic girl or whatever. From whatever dimension, organization, or whatever it is that Hina was a part of, Hina escaped. She got away. Got sick of doing what all the adults were telling her to do, right? Well, Anzu is sent to come after her and kill her. Okay? Doesn't go very well for Anzu. She basically loses a game of psychokinetic rock, paper, scissors. It's like harmless enough, but yeah, it's weird. It's weird. But anyway, she loses that. So Ansu's just like, okay, I was defeated. I don't have enough power to deal with her, so I'm just going to go back home. Okay, whatever. It's just like, oh, she's leaving in defeat. So, but before she can go, I guess her pod got like thrown in the wash machine. And it don't work no more. So she can't go. She's stuck on Earth. Wash machine bad. That's the excuse. It didn't malfunction or whatever, or psychic powers fight or whatever. It got put in a washing machine. I don't know how the hell it fits in a washing machine and broke. Okay. So anyways, she is stuck on Earth. She ends up being homeless, living with homeless people. Even though she's got these powers and everything about her, she could pretty much do whatever she wants. She stays homeless, goes running around, steals bread and food and everything to survive. Typical, like, homeless kind of stuff. And, yeah, just kind of does her thing. Eventually, though, she does find a way to pay back all the people that she stole from, helps out the homeless people, and is actually adopted by these two older individuals who run like a Chinese restaurant. She gets adopted by them. And she ends up desiring to stay on Earth because she has things that she never had where she was from. She has loving parents, a good job, friends. I mean, all the kind of things that normal people want, and have. They didn't have that because how they were raised, developed, etc. Because they're not artificial beings, but they're genetically manipulated and bossed around to do things. I don't know. It's kind of like a tragedy where they came from, and then they come to Earth. Everything's better, and it turns into a comedy. Comedy to tragedy to comedy. Whatever. Well, back to Hina. One of the things that Hina wants to do as a reward for basically taking out a whole rival Yakuza mob. Yeah, Nita had to go like to this other clan or something and beat him up and show him who's boss or whatever. And he doesn't know how to do it. He never shot at anybody. He's the non-violent type. Well, Hina's just like, I'll take care of it. She walks to the building, beats up everybody, throws people out of windows, all this crazy stuff. It worked out. And of course, Nita gets all the credit for it because he can't go be like, hey, this little girl over here with the psychic powers actually beat them all up. What do you guys think? You can't do that. But as a reward for that, Hina, for whatever reason, wants to go to school. All right, well, I guess she's middle school age or something, so send her off to school. There's literally nothing at school she could learn. Anzu tried the same thing for like a day. These girls are intelligent as hell. There's nothing they're going to learn at school that they don't already know or even care about. But she wants to go to socialize, I guess. And this is where our next character comes into play. Hitomi. Hitomi was great. Okay, it's almost like a side background character, but it's a great character. She's like student council president, head of the class, smartest girl in school, all the whole typical I'm king of the school type thing. But she's actually a really sweet girl. She's not like conceited or nothing, right? And she starts to kind of get sucked into this Yakuza world a little bit. Meets up with this bartender. Like Nita ends up going to this one like kind of underground bar all the time, right? That has a bunch of high-end drinks. Somehow Hitomi gets kind of strung along with all this, trying to find Hina because I think she thinks Hina's working there in the red light district or something. It's something bad, and Hitomi is like wants to help her friend, blah, whatever. But instead, she gets kind of conned into mixing a drink at this bar that she goes into. Now, this is a middle school girl, okay? And the bartender / owner lady somehow notices that she's like a legendary bartender status by nature or something. She can mix drinks perfectly every time, memorizes all the recipes and everything, and you can just slap it together instantly. She's like the idiot savant of alcohol. Okay, well, next thing you know, she's got a part-time job working as a bartender as a middle school student. Very much illegal, but apparently she's really good at it, and she's making money. Middle school girl making a lot of money. There's things that people assume about that. Okay, I ain't going there. But overall, this is one of those anime that's like, it comes and goes, doesn't really make an impression. The manga is still going. There's new ones coming out, fairly regularly. I actually just started reading them not too long ago to try to get a little bit more info. But this anime it's one of those that deserves a sequel. It's funny. There's plenty of moments that I was just like laugh my ass off, and especially the one where she's sitting there eating a rice bowl full of caviar, salmon roe on top of it. She's eating it and everything, and she's like, "Oh, I've now become an adult." But the reaction, the reaction Nita had is like instantaneously is like, "No." The way they did it was funny as hell. Yeah. Highly recommended. Watch it, especially even for that one moment. It was funny as hell. And with that, like, subscribe, hit that notification button. I got more videos coming, and the next one is, I don't know yet. We'll find out.